we got word last week, and Michigan has publicly put out there that it is in quote advanced discussions in opening the 2026 season in Frankfurt, Germany, which is wild for me because I literally just got back from there. So that's who knows? Maybe I should have maybe not got on a plane back home, or I need to book a flight for them. I don't think you can book flights out this far in advance, but Michigan says we are engaged in ongoing discussions to kick off the 2026 season on foreign soil, playing host to Western Michigan at Deutsche Bank Park in Frankfurt, Germany on Saturday, August 29th. This non-conference matchup would become the first game played by the Wolverines outside of North America. So if this does happen, and it feels like, to use the football terminology, it's maybe first and goal where you're right on the, right before this thing gets pushed across. Or if you're a baseball person, maybe you're standing on third base with it, although not in a Ryan Day way. This feels like it's going to happen. And if it does, it will move their game up to week 0. It would give Michigan an extra week to prepare for that Oklahoma game, which is currently scheduled for, I believe, September 12th of 2026. So Michigan could be heading overseas, Clayton. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a conflicting one because I don't think I like it overall. I think it's one of those things that has some benefits. You can't act like there aren't any benefits, but there are also some potential downfalls of this move. You lose a home game. Now, you had to do this in a year where you have 8 home games, and Michigan does in 2026. Only 6 this coming year, but 8 of them in 2026. Now it'll be 7. This will count as one of their home games against Western Michigan. But I love that opening weekend. I love that you're pretty much guaranteed to have really good weather that weekend. If it's a night game like it is this year, you get an extended tailgate. Even if it's a noon game, you get beautiful weather throughout the day. You get a nice morning to tailgate, and it's something to look forward to. A lot more fans will be able to look forward to and go to that game on opening weekend if it's in Ann Arbor. Less of them will be in Germany. Now, there are different perspectives to this. One, I think it's exciting, like for us, but I understand we're in a very unique spot. It's exciting if you're a fan in Germany, which there are Michigan fans over there. There are fans in the rest of the world that maybe that's the closest place that they could see Michigan play in a long time and would love to see it and are going to go to the 55,000 seat stadium. But overall, that type of travel right before the season, I know it's week 0, you get a week off in week 1, and then you play Oklahoma at home in week 2. But that's kind of tough. Also, you have to play on week 0, which is probably overhyped by the college football networks. It's not, never as exciting. There's sometimes one, good game or something like that. It's not a sexy matchup with Western Michigan. I love Western Michigan. No offense to them. It's a cool experience for Western.
I do not, by the way. Fire up chips.
Right. That's true. So, yeah, we don't have to. Yeah, I like Western, though. I'll give them a little bit of love. I'll balance it out here, Anthony. But, no, so, yeah, it's conflicting. It's cool in a way. I think it's a little bit unnecessary. And I asked the question for the 2026 Michigan football season, how does this help the Wolverines in 2026? Financially, it might, and I have no insight into what those details are, what that's going to look like. But other than that, and maybe it's a huge financial win, right? And then I'll understand it a little bit more if you're going to make double what you would have for a home game. I don't know how that works. I don't know who would pay you, sponsors, stadium, the local, I don't even know. But beyond that, I think that there are more pitfalls probably than benefits, but at the same time, it's kind of cool. They haven't left North America for a football game. They've had some outside of the country in North America, but never gone overseas to actually play a game. So it is historic in that way.
There are pros and cons to this. I will start by saying that despite the fact that I just got back from over there, I think this is, as fans, we talk about how, or talking about college football fans in general, how they're just kind of turned off by the traditions of the game being ripped away from them. And a Michigan home date, whether it's against Western Michigan or Western Kentucky or Notre Dame, whoever it is, that's a sacred Saturday for a lot of people. And when you move that location somewhere else, not only somewhere else, if it's Jerry World, that's one thing. If it's, SoFi, it's one thing. If it's that game in Atlanta, that's one thing.
But here's the thing. If you, those games are different because you probably weren't getting that matchup without moving it to a neutral site. This one you could get,
And I
because
was
he needed a
working
few
that
months to go to
right. And I was, you would hope, and if you're someone that is going to go over there, you'd hope maybe it was a little more hot, top end opponent. But part of the appeal is that you can afford to do, like, whether you move this game up a week, 2 weeks, whenever it's played, you're going to beat Western Michigan by a lot. At least that's what you would think, right? And then now you're going to get that extra week to prepare for a team like Oklahoma. I see that. But I think overall, and the financial part of it is the most fascinating to me, because what is the financial benefit to doing something like that? I assume U of M athletic department will partner with someone to sell travel packages, and they'll get a cut of that, and there'll be those types of things. I don't even know if this is me putting on my tinfoil hat. I did notice when I was over there, Oracle is over there. Oracle is owned by Larry Ellison. We know that Ellison's tied to Michigan football. They've just invested a couple $2 billion into their operations in Frankfurt. I don't know if that's tied in at all. I just think when you lose, we're talking about, we've seen just in the magazine that we just put out, I wrote about how, Ward Manuel had put out the email of we're looking for ways to expand these streams of revenue, and when you remove a Michigan football home game, that's one of the bigger revenue streams that this athletic department, this program has going for it. And I don't know, there are pros and cons on all sides of it. I put a poll up on social media, I put one up on the board. There's really only about 20% of people that like or love this idea. There's probably another 20 to 30% that are indifferent on it because they weren't going to go to the game anyways. And there's a very vocal portion of people that absolutely hate it. For me, I just think that we don't know enough about what the benefits of this are yet, other than, what they said in the statement. It could be a cool opportunity for the players and the fans. So I guess how I would grade this decision is sort of incomplete at the moment. And, we'll see where it goes from there, but it certainly seems to be trending that way.
Yeah, it's and the extra week to prepare thing. You're coming off a long trip, so I feel like it'll impact it. And
you've traveled internationally. I just got back. It took me 3 days probably on each end of that to adjust to the time difference. So it's really, you have a week off, but you're going to spend 3 or 4 days of that week getting back to. And they have sports science people, nutritionists, sleep specialists. Like, they're probably far more equipped to make that adjustment than guys like me or you are. But yeah, it's not a true bye week. Like, you're not going to get back to the States on Monday and start crunching Oklahoma film, or maybe you are, but it's interesting. And I don't know what the benefits to that are. And until they tell us, it's tough to get a full picture on it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear the rationale from Ward Manuel, and reserve full judgment until I hear that and some more details come out. But worth noting, Oklahoma has UTEP in week 1 in Norman, so more of a cupcake type of game for them. Then they'll move on and prepare. And both Michigan and Oklahoma will prepare a decent amount next fall camp for each other, as they will this fall camp. But yeah, year away, interesting. Didn't expect that when when the news dropped on Friday morning, for sure. That was a surprise, and kudos to Brett McMurphy, our new coworker over at On3, for breaking that news. I saw him talking to Sherrone Moore for quite a while on Thursday at the Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, and figured they were just catching up. A lot of these coaches, know a lot of the national guys, and it turns out they were probably discussing some of that scoop there. So kudos to Brett.
My last point on this would be, and maybe this is the pro side of it. You talk about expanding. It probably is still good for the international brand. You're trying to get a foothold. There's a bunch of Detroit Lions fans in Germany now because of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Cologne is about an hour and a half from there. Maybe you're trying to tap into some crossover there.
You got Marlon.
What's
Klein.
that?
Marlon
Klein's from there. Yeah, I believe is Manuel Beagle still on the team, by the way?
Yes,
he's from over there too, isn't he? I think he might be from Frankfurt.
Or
near Frankfurt.
Frankfurt, yeah. And then he went to high school in Connecticut. But yes, he is from Frankfurt, Germany.
So, yeah, I mean, you talk about expanding revenue streams. If you're expanding a fan base overseas, I mean, who maybe there's a benefit to that. Maybe Michigan becomes the how some people over here see Bayern Munich or some of these international teams. Maybe that the Block M, but the Block, I saw maybe 3 or 4 Michigan gear clad people when I was over there. So there is an international brand. I think the folks over there, the transplants will probably love this. We'll just see it. We'll see what sort of traction it gets from the fans over here. I don't have any other thoughts on this until it becomes official. I've never seen a statement before saying that they're in advanced discussions. I don't know if that's a temperature check. I don't know if that's hey, maybe start saving your money. It's not quite official yet, but I thought that part of it was interesting. But I will be interested to know the benefits of this and the specifics of how it came together, who planned this, who brought it up, those types of things.